Hello, I'm a hard times guy, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about guitars and recollections from my childhood. And I don't know how many places I'm going to go with this, but a few. And so we'll just take off and see where it leads us. My dad, he was a trader, and he might have anything at any time to trade, but he had certain things that he felt like always had value, and he bought and sold them most of his life, or different ones at different times in his life. And one of the things that he had frequently when I was young were guitars. In fact, there was usually a case under his bed with a guitar in it, and if there ever was one that wasn't a Gibson guitar, I don't remember it. I remember puzzling over that as a young boy, and when I first started learning letters and learning to read, and looking at my dad's guitars, getting them out from under and opening up that case and strumming them. I wasn't supposed to be doing that, but you know, sometimes when no one was looking, I did that. Or just looking at him when he was playing them. And up there on the end of the guitar, up there where the screws were for tuning it, it said Gibson, Gibson. And I don't know how many times I looked at that and struggled and puzzled with how guitar was spelled that way. I knew there were guitars, and they all said, my way of thinking, guitars on them. But it didn't say Gibson. Didn't say guitar, it said Gibson. They were like currency to him. He liked to have one around because he liked to pick and pluck and strum on one, and he liked to have friends over and play guitars and play harmonicas. And he had a Gibson guitar. Not always the same one, not always just one, sometimes as many as three. And very seldom did he not have at least one guitar, because he bought and sold them and tried to have one. He did shotguns the same way. A lot of shotguns passed through his hands, even dogs. During rabbit season, we usually had a beagle hound tied up to a tree in the backyard. But you knew he was going to be gone when rabbit season was over. Dad managed to sell him to somebody else before the season was over and get another one next year. Didn't feed a dog all year, just hunt rabbits, but he had a beagle hound. He had shotguns to sell and trade, and he had pocket knives to sell and trade. But today I'm talking about guitars. When I was young, I just dearly loved to sit and listen to my dad and his friends sit around and play guitars and harmonicas and sing. And I don't know whether any of them were any good or not. I know my dad wasn't much of a guitar player. Never could do much more than strum. He seldom tried to sing. He probably sang better than I do, but he didn't sing real well. But he had some friends that could play and sing, and he enjoyed it. And so there were lots of times when they got together and did that at our house, in our living room. And I can think of some of those times. And I think back on them fondly. One of the men's name was Ellis Hanley. And his probably initial connection with my dad was they were both from Arkansas. In fact, Ellis Hanley, a lot of folks called him Arky. And he had a band later on in life called Arky and the Playboys. And was an entertainer at local clubs and bars and places like that around Bedford. Archie and the Playboys often played at the Moose and the Elks and wherever they had bands like that for entertainment. And he used to sit around with my dad and play guitars. And some other people, I can't tell you who they were. One of them, and I don't know whether he was actually Howard Crulow or whether he was somebody that worked for Crulow Trucking Company, but he came to our house in a big old dump truck, said Crulow on the doors. And so I don't know who that man was, but I know he was there more than once, and I know that my Dad knew Howard Crulow before he was killed. I think he was killed in 1954, so this wouldn't be, I just don't know how much I'd remember of that. The thing I remember most about that is one time when they were playing guitars in the house, we heard a loud crash, and what had happened was that man had come in that dump truck. He had parked it in front of our house on East 15th Street, and it was a steep hill. And he hadn't set the brake properly, or he hadn't chocked the wheels properly, or he had done something wrong, and that truck had broke loose and started down the 15th Street hill and turned and went across the street, and there was a late model Studebaker there. It was a, I don't know, 55 or 54 or 53. It was one of, in those model years when Studebakers looked like later what the pony cars looked like, what Mustangs and Camaros did. Studebaker was way ahead of time for in their styling, and the 53, 54, 55 Studebakers, those cars were by today's standards nice looking, well designed, pretty cars. There was one of them sitting across the street. I don't think it was even a car that was regularly in our neighborhood. They were probably visiting somebody that was a neighbor of ours or lived in the neighborhood. But that Studebaker was sitting over across the street, and that dump truck caught that Studebaker right about the front door, bounced it up on the sidewalk and against a stone wall, and when it was all said and done, that Studebaker was only about half as wide as it was before the truck hit it. I mean, it just crushed it against that wall. I can remember that as a boy. I don't know how that got in a story about guitars, but it did. I'm not going to edit it out. I'll leave it in there. But I used to like to sit and listen to my dad play guitars. And I'll tell you today, I still love doing that. I still love listening to people sitting around playing guitars and singing, whether they're good singers or not, whether they're good pickers or not. I enjoy that. And if you're ever around here on the 4th of July, you can see that I enjoy it, because we've always tried on the 4th of July in our family to have that done. My middle daughter, her father-in-law, Kenny Fisher, he's got an old Gibson guitar, and he enjoys playing and singing. Morris Rogers, before he died, he'd always come to our 4th of July celebrations, which was mostly family, but a few friends too. Morris would come bring a guitar and play. Jim Stevens, he comes here lately, and Jim's an excellent singer and guitar player. I mean, he's played with lots of probably famous people that we all know from music in Nashville. Jim's played with them while they recorded, and he can flat play a guitar. And Clint, my youngest brother Clint, he enjoyed that same kind of thing, and he was always a part of it. And he had a guitar, and he played a guitar fairly well. He sang, he liked to sing. A lot of times Shauna sang with him. But the 4th of July, that was always a part of the 4th of July that he liked and enjoyed. Always brought his guitar. Songs that he played, there's some songs that he played and sang and liked, and I can't even hear him now from other artists without it just crushing me. because I remembered him playing them and singing them. So I enjoy that. I like to go where that's being done. I just love doing it. And what I tell people is, if you can come play the guitar, I can sit there and cry while you play, because I just love to hear them old songs and them old heartbreaking country songs and sad songs. I can sit there and cry with the best of them while you're playing the guitar. And much of the music that I enjoy today, in fact, what prompted this video, this morning I'm sitting there drinking my coffee and trying to catch up on the basketball games from the last few days and the news on the TV. And Betty, she's sitting there looking at her phone, and I hear this music coming from over there. And it's Mark Weiss. And those of you who don't know Mark Weiss, well, you need to get to know him or know about him. I think he lives in Florida now, but he's from southern Indiana, maybe always Bedford, I don't know, but around here somewhere. Used to be a school teacher, and then he was a principal at Parkview School, and I think maybe took a job out to high school before he finally retired. Fine fella, excellent musician, plays all kinds of instruments. I might list them for you. I'd start with guitar and fiddle and maybe banjo, mandolin, and today he was playing the dobro. I said, "Is that a dobro?" And Betty said, "I don't know. It looks like a guitar, but he's got it turned sideways." And he had a slide up there on the neck of that thing, and he was picking. Sounded good. Good job, Mark. In fact, Mark, almost if you're watching this video, or if you don't watch my videos, but if some of you that know Mark see this video, tell him I said this. 4th of July, we have, my family's here, we have a celebration, we grill out and bring pitch in, and if you can play a guitar, and Mark, I'm talking to you right now, I know you can, but anybody out there that can, anybody like to sit around and play a guitar and sing and pedal and jam and do that kind of stuff, I'm offering you a free meal on the 4th of July. Just come out here, 4th of July, bring a guitar, bring a mandolin, or bring a banjo, or bring whatever it is you play. Or bring all those things and sit down with us, and we'll sit down and listen to you play and sing, and just love that. Betty had Mark Weiss on her phone today. He was playing in some little church, I think, down there in Florida, playing a dobro. We went to Mardi Gras, Betty and I did. I could tell you lots of stories about that too. Betty and I went with David and Vicki Cosner. We've been friends with them for a long time. Don't see them as much anymore as we used to, but back in those days we did things together more frequently, and we went to Mardi Gras together in 1972. David had I think that car was a 442. It was an Oldsmobile. If it wasn't a 442, it was a Cutlass. Late 60s, early 70s maybe car. We drove that to New Orleans and went to Mardi Gras in 1972. I got a picture over on the wall of Roy Ward. He went at the same time. Didn't go with us, but he flew down and rented a car while he was there. Got a picture of him and Betty and I in Pat O'Brien's bar there in the French Quarter, where I'm getting away from the guitars. While we were there, there was this old black guy, and he had a dobro. First time I'd ever seen a dobro, didn't know what it was. I called it a guitar with one of them steel discs in the middle of it. And I don't think he played it with a slide bar and flat like most people play a dobro. I think he just played it like it was a guitar. But he'd go down to Jackson Square and he'd open up his guitar case. He'd sit there and tell stories and play that guitar or play that dobro and sing. And I just loved watching him. Every day while we was in Mardi Gras, I went down there to Jackson Square to see if he's there. And I'd sit there and watch him and listen to him. Throw money in his guitar case. I think the rest of them thought I was about half lost it because there's so many fun things to do in New Orleans at Mardi Gras in 1972. Why would I go down to Jackson Square and listen to an old black man play a dobro? But fond memories of that. Wished I knew who he was. Wished I could hear him again. I just enjoy that kind of thing. And I always have. I miss Morris. And I've invited others out here, and we've had others out here. And I've invited some people that didn't come. Let's see, if I can think of any. Donnie Thomas. He plays the guitar some. Shannon Barnes. Oh man, Shannon Barnes can sing. He can play guitar too. Brett, she plays her guitar a little bit. Mark Taylor, Tommy Woodward, those two aren't great pickers, but they like to do it. They like to do just on the 4th of July, and we're busy, and I didn't even intend to throw that in there. This video's gone plumb haywire on me. I was going to talk about guitar pickers. People like Robert Johnson and who he was and how he played. People like Chris Stapleton and Jamie Johnson. Wow. Those guys can sing and play a guitar. And how I got to be familiar with them. Brat, those of you that know Brat, she's my youngest daughter. And I made a, here I go, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I made a video the other day. Had Linda Ronstadt in it. Had, I don't know who, Allison Krauss and some other gal and a guy. And they weren't necessarily guitar pickers, but I made that video because it was music from when I was a young man that I appreciated, and then that my oldest daughter, Shannon, it's the music she grew up listening to. That and a lot of other music that we may mention in future videos, but didn't there. And she, since then we've had a discussion. She said, Dad, what about this person, or what about that person, and how'd you make that video without mentioning these people? I started out to mention some of them today with this video, but I got off on a sojourn, and I'm probably not going to get them mentioned. But I'm going to get back to Brett and her influence, because she's the one that got me listening to Chris Stapleton and Jamie Johnson and Jason Isbell, Bonnie Raitt, some of those kind of people that play guitar and sing. She enjoys a lot of that same kind of music that I do. And she, over the years at different occasions, Father's Day, birthdays, even Christmas sometimes, just made me a little CD with a bunch of music on it that she thought I might like. And always when she did that, she included somebody that I never heard of before. And so I got to know them and became fans of them often. In fact, one time I accused her of slipping up on her job. I said, how in the world could you give me these videos over there, give me these CDs over the years, and never have one that had Chris Stapleton on it? I discovered Chris Stapleton from somebody's phone. I mean, guy I play cards with. His phone, when it rings, it plays a few lines from Broken Halos with Chris Stapleton. I heard that, man, I liked it. And I went and I asked him who that was, and he told me, and I got online and went down the rabbit hole. Went down the Chris Stapleton rabbit hole, listening to all his different music and songs and things. Then I scolded Brad. She said, Dad, you're wrong. Be quiet. Get out of here. You got Chris Stapleton. I said, I don't think so. I wouldn't have missed out on that. She got to digging through my CDs down there in the box. She didn't even have to go out in the truck and get the ones I listen to all the time. She found 3 or 4 or 5 in there that had Chris Stapleton songs on them. She said, what about this? What about this? What about this? I went, well, I had to apologize. But I like guitar players, and I like sitting around and listening to guitar players pick and sing. One of the recent ones I found was crusty old dude. His name's, what is his name? Can't even think of it right now. I can see him from down there in Texas. He's got a boy that plays guitar too. Guess this video is just going to have to come to an end because I can't think his name and I'm not going on until I do. Had to go turn the TV on YouTube. Ray Wylie Hubbard. When you get old, you just have those blank moments sometimes. Can't think of somebody whose name you know about as well as your kids. I can't think of my kids' names sometimes when I'm talking to them. Have to find this say AU. Ray Wylie Hubbard. Crusty old dude from Texas. Plays songs you never heard of before unless you're into guys like him. He's part of the Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings crowd from down in that area. Writes unusual songs and plays guitar in an unusual way. He's got real long fingernails on his right hand. He chords with his left hand. He picks that guitar like this with them long fingernails on his right hand. Man, them things are gross looking. About as gross as my toenails. This video's went plumb haywire. I'm going to end it with that, I guess. Don't know what else I could say. I like guitar pickers, and I'm going one more time. I'm going to say, if you're watching this video and you play guitar and you like to do what I'm talking about doing, anytime you want to, you can catch me here. I'll sit and listen to you play guitar and cry. But a good time to do it would be on the 4th of July. Come out here on the 4th of July. I guarantee you, I'll give you a free, really good meal. You don't have to bring nothing but your guitar. You'll eat good home cooking, and I don't know, you probably have your choice between grilled hamburgers and hot dogs. Probably a pork tenderloin or two baked in a slow cooker. Betty does a real good job with those. Who knows what else? We got food scattered out on there, 25 foot long and 4 foot wide. And we have a good time. Come and see us. Bring your guitar. I'm Luke, the Hard Times guy. Till then, have a good day.